Hi there, I'm Ashley. This is Brockley Bikes. It's my workshop. This is where all the action happens. Customers bring their bikes in and we fix them for them. What I'm going to do today is just show you a few things that you can do in between your services just to keep your bike running, and so you maybe don't have to come down here and have us do it. So the first thing is how to fix a puncture. I'm going to show you how to do a rear wheel puncture because that's the hardest of the lot, and if you can do that one, you can probably do a front one. So the first thing I'm going to do is get the bike in the best position for us to get the wheel out of it. So no matter what sort of bike it is, you want to get the chain into the two smallest cogs. So you've got the rear one here and the front one here. So we just release the gears. So it's in the smallest one now at the back. Just drop the front derailleur so it's in the smallest one at the front. I'm just going to make my way around the other side of the bike just to make it a little bit easier for the camera to see. You might want to just have a look here that it's in the two smallest cogs. This makes it really easy to get the wheel out of the bike and then get it back in. So let's move up to the brake. This is a standard V brake. So what we want to do to get this out, this is just the easiest way to do it, is basically hold the brake arm here that's holding the actual cable in, and we push that against the wheel and we just pull the other one out like that. That opens the brake up, allows us to get the wheel out quite easily while the tyre is still a bit inflated. So we undo the quick release. You might have nuts on there, so if you did, you'd have to get the spanner and obviously undo them. And because the cog is in the right place on the chain, that should just drop out nice and easily for you. So we'll take that out. We've still got a little bit of air left in here. So what we're going to do is just find something. You can use a screwdriver or an Allen key. I just like to use the back end of the tyre lever here. Just let all the air out. This will make it a lot easier to get the tyre off and then get the tube out. Right, so give it a little bit of a squeeze as well. That gets a little bit extra out. Make the job a bit easier for us. Right, that should do us. So we get the first tyre lever. What we do is just pull the tyre back a little bit like that, get the tyre lever underneath it, and most of them have got hooks on the end of them, and you just hook it there onto the rim. Get your second tyre lever, go a little bit further along, and then you just lever a little bit more tyre off. Go a bit further along, lever a bit more off, and you'll find that as you do that, well, that one's even fallen out, that it becomes loose enough just to get the tyre lever under the edge and slide it around like that. All the way around. Always pick your tools up, put them somewhere safe. Right, now what we'll do is pull the tube out. Work your way round to the valve. Now what I like to do, and I think this is the best way to find the punctures without cutting your fingers or anything, is keep the tube in the same position that it would be if it was in the tyre. That way, when we pump it up, we can find out where the puncture is and then relate that to the wheel and find out what has actually made the puncture. So, pump it up. You can pump these up quite big. Sometimes you can't really, it's a little puncture. You can't really see where it is. So what we do is do that, work our way around. Right, yeah, that's it, we've got it there. So now just disconnect the pump. Get the pump out of the way. And we come back to the wheel. Know that is about there. So instead of having to just run your hands inside and try and find a piece of glass that's going to cut your fingers open, we can have a look inside the tyre, and actually it looks like the thing that made the puncture is actually already gone. But if it wasn't, we could just pull it out because we found where it was. If it was on the inside of the tube, then it's probably going to be the spokes that have done it. Just have a look at your rim tape, and if that's not covering the spokes at some point, that's the thing that would have caused the problem. So I'm just going to get another tube. Right, this is very important. What we want to do here, and what most people would do, is just inflate the tube, sorry, not inflate the tube, put the tube in flat. What we want to do is we want to put a bit of air in it. Take the valve cap off, put the pump on, just put a little bit of air in, and basically what we're doing is we're pumping it up so it's going to just fit inside the tyre, so it's the same shape as it would be when it's actually fully inflated. Put the pump to the side. Get the wheel, find where the valve hole is, put the valve in first, just holding the tyre back a little bit there to make it a bit easier. We'll push the valve down in it, and then we just go around and we just tuck the tube right up inside the tyre. This makes it quite easy to get it on afterwards. I'm just working our way around. Sometimes it doesn't want to go all the way in, we just have a little wrestle with it. Make sure it's tucked up nicely inside. Alright. And then we basically come back. I like to get on my leg here, I just find it a bit easier to do it that way. Come back to the valve again. If you always start at the valve and end at the valve, you really reduce the chance of blowing the tyre off afterwards. So just push it on with our thumbs. I hold it there so it can't run away. I'm pushing on with my palm of my hand and my thumb again. And I work my way around. And I'm just sliding it on with the palm of my hand and my thumb. Again, just holding it back here at this position so it can't go back the other way while I'm trying to push it on. Just work your way around. Now, it can be a bit tough to get it on here, so what you want to do is use both your thumbs to push it on at once. Just go a little bit at a time and just keep pushing. Don't use any tools here. If you use tools, tyre levers, spoons, anything you can think of, there's a high chance you'll actually puncture the tube and then you have to start again. So we've got that there. You can see the tyre's just a little bit high there. What we do is we get the valve and we just push it up into the tyre. That way it won't blow off later. Pull it back out. Put it to the side. Got ourselves a pump. Connect it up to the actual valve. Always like to hold it a little bit straight there so it pumps up straight. And just inflate it a little bit. I like to put about 30 or 40 psi in at this point. This is just so that we can check that everything's alright before we pump it up fully. So, disconnect the pump, have a look around, check the other side as well. Just make sure that the tyre's not lifting up anywhere. That all looks okay. Now, all tyres, by law, have to have the recommended pressure on the side of it. They have a minimum and a maximum. I like to pump it up somewhere in between the two, edging towards the maximum pressure. There we go, this one's got 85 written on it. So we'll pump that all the way up to 85. Right. Take the pump off. Get your valve cap. Pop that back on. Get the pump out of the way. Right, we'll just come back to the bike. Now, because we left the bike with it in its two smallest gears, we'll be able to put the chain on quite easily. So you get the chain onto the lowest cog there, because that's where it's actually set. Slide the wheel up in, and try and push it all the way up. If you've got your bike upside down, then push it all the way down, and then just do the quick release up. Again, if you've got nuts on here, you'll have to use a spanner to do that. Now I like to get my fingers in here. That way I can just check if the wheel's in the middle of the bike. That way, when we go to ride it off, the brake block's not going to hit the tyre. It'll all be set how it was before. Come to reconnect the brake. Just push the other brake arm against the wheel like that. And then we just clip the cable in. And there you have it, puncture repaired.